Welcome everyone to my channel. It's great to be able to continue to accompany everyone to conquer the royal stories. Today's conversation will revolve around Harry facing huge Invictus Games backlash as Birmingham locals make the same complaint. As I know, Birmingham has been selected as the venue for the 2027 Invictus Games, a decision that has sparked concerns among local residents about potential financial impacts. Harry, who will return to the UK for the event, faces backlash as locals worry that the Games might divert funds from essential services. Despite being funded by the UK government, there are fears that money needed for local infrastructure and public services might instead be used for the event. This concern comes at a time when Birmingham is dealing with financial difficulties, having declared bankruptcy last September, leading to a 21% increase in council tax to save $300 million. The event is seen positively by some, like Charlotte Bell, who believes it could bring a positive focus back to Birmingham. However, skepticism remains, particularly regarding public finances and the upkeep of necessary community services. As a whole, I think that the heart of the issue here is quite troubling. Birmingham is already in a precarious financial state, having declared bankruptcy just last year. The local residents are understandably worried that hosting such a large-scale event like the Invictus Games could divert crucial funds from much-needed public services. It seems there's a significant disconnect between the city's aspirations and the practical realities of its residents. How do you think the decision to host the Games was made, considering these circumstances? Clearly, the decision likely involved multiple stakeholders, including local government and the UK government, which funded the £26 million bid. While hosting the Games can bring international attention and potential economic benefits, it seems there was insufficient consideration of the timing and the current economic strain on Birmingham's resources. This decision-making process might have underestimated the immediate needs of the local community, focusing more on long-term gains. Besides having an in-depth look, it seems there's a real fear that the city's infrastructure could suffer. We're talking about potholes, public services, and even job cuts. How justified are these concerns? They're very justified. The city council is already making painful cuts, with waste collection frequency reduced and over 600 jobs at risk. When you consider that the Games bid was funded by the government, it raises critical questions about prioritizing spending. The fear is that while the city dresses up for the Games, the residents will suffer the long-term consequences of neglected services. Yes, it's a stark contrast, isn't it? On one hand, the prestige of hosting an international event, and on the other, the potential worsening of local residents' daily lives. So how do you think this situation reflects on Harry and his involvement with the Games? Firstly, it's quite a precarious position for Prince Harry. While his commitment to the Invictus Games is commendable, the choice of Birmingham as the host city amidst its financial crisis could reflect poorly on him. It suggests a possible oversight or a disconnect between the event's broader goals and the immediate impacts on the host community. This could tarnish his image as a sensitive and community-oriented leader. In other words, the decision to hold the Games in a financially struggling city could be seen as out of touch by those directly affected by the city's austerity measures. If not handled carefully, it could portray him as overlooking the immediate hardships of the people in favor of his charitable interests. It's a delicate balance between supporting a noble cause and recognizing the economic realities of the host city. There is also a rather sensitive topic. Do you think Harry will be the host of Invictus? Why is the media assuming that Harry will be the host of Invictus? Despite his commitments to the Invictus Games, the Games are not his games. He does not contribute one penny to the Games, and he charges a king's ransom to show up and act like a benevolent nobleman who's raising money for injured veterans. Germany has booted him out of their summer Invictus, and Canada has done the same for the Whistler Games. The US Warrior Games have banned Harry from participating. He's now bought and paid for the Pat Tillman Award, despite over 80,000 votes against him. Hundreds of vets have voted to kick him and his puffed-up yacht wife out of all Invictus Games, to stop the steal of 92% of the money for the Sussex Royal Luxury Circus, featuring the Meghan Markle woman's disgusting fashion show, flaunting her matronly, unattractive, overexposed body parts at injured vets who paid a heavy price for their devotion to country. She's not on yacht duty to solicit clients, or at a football game as a skimpily clad cheerleader with a bullhorn. Yeah, you just mentioned Meghan. I was talking about Meghan too. If she accompanies Harry, how might her presence be perceived in light of these tensions? As I said above, I think Meghan's presence could complicate matters further. The couple has seen a dip in popularity since relocating to the U.S., and her appearance at the games amidst this financial controversy could be seen as insensitive by those who feel the funds could have been better spent. It's a delicate situation that requires careful navigation to avoid deepening the public's resentment. Given their already sensitive public standing, it's crucial for both Harry and Meghan to approach this with a great deal of empathy and awareness of the local sentiments. But I think it's difficult, after all the things they've done that have damaged the royal family. The people's distaste and discomfort with Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan, is huge. And I also think Meghan can't do things that make people satisfied. That's right, she's an insult to the vets and to their families, while she jumps around high as a kite, hugging and kissing everyone she meets, and clapping like a trained seal on steroids. I also said their reputation has been tarnished. She's the butt of 1,000 jokes about her being thrown out of Hollywood events like a drunk who's annoying the bartender. Let her boycott the London Games, and let Harry support her by doing the same. Remember, Prince William and Princess Catherine were on the first Invictus team in London, and Harry is not the founder as his PR team falsely claims, hoping if they tell that lie often enough, everyone will believe it's true. The Walleses are working royals, who don't charge Invictus for their patronage. It's clear they trump the now ex-Spare, who will demand the Hag Play's co-director. The world has had enough of the American Royal Sussex greedy grifters, and it's high time the devious duo replaced by the future king and queen, who will restore the founder's goal of celebrating and supporting the international war veterans who were injured while fighting in the defense of their countries. Honestly, the real concern is why on earth are organizations inviting these grifters to give speeches and accept awards, especially since both their reputations have tanked. Harry is by no means an inspiring speaker, though insomniacs could find his monologues helpful. Bored to tears with the scammers, can NASA please put them in a rocket to Pluto? It's hard to say. I think if they invite or use Harry to participate in their work, I think Harry still has value to them. But in the recent Pat Tillman Award, I think Serena's husband had something to do with it. Maybe he's on the board of some charity organization. Serena put Harry's name forward, but it was still a paid-for award. This was all at the instigation of Meghan. I think she wanted to accompany him up onto the stage, but she was barred by the organizers. At least that's something her giving an acceptance speech on behalf of her husband when he's standing right beside her and does have a voice wasn't on the cards for her that night. Bet she had a face like a wet weekend. Oh, her face is always like that when things don't go her way. With all these layers of complexity, what would be your advice to Harry and Meghan regarding their approach to the 2027 Invictus Games? 2027 is still 3 years away. A lot can happen before that. My understanding is that Birmingham is not financially sound. If so, that would mean that they wouldn't be able to afford the luxuries that Harry normally demands. Hopefully, that would be the end of the Harkle stranglehold on the Invictus Games. Sorry, Harry, it's not all about you. But if they really want to change and take any initiative to alleviate these concerns, my advice would be for them to engage directly with the Birmingham community. They need to address these concerns openly and show that they are aware and proactive about mitigating the negative impacts. Transparency and genuine community involvement could go a long way in easing the tension and ensuring that the games leave a positive legacy. Engaging with the community is essential. They should consider visiting Birmingham ahead of the games to meet with local leaders and residents to discuss their concerns, perhaps initiating community-focused projects or supporting existing local services could demonstrate their commitment to the city beyond the games. Transparency about the financial and planning aspects of the games could also help in alleviating some of the public's concerns. It sounds like a proactive, empathetic approach could indeed make a difference. Hope we will receive a lot of love from the audience. Hope we will receive a lot of likes, shares, and channel subscriptions. Now goodbye, and see you again in our next videos. Goodbye.